Hello nerds! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Maria and I make technology videos on the internet. And today is a special episode because this video is for my friend David and anyone else who's going to be onboarding to a new company or a new team. And I actually counted and I have onboarded 9 times in my career so far, so I think I can confidently say that I can make a video about this. You will probably work at a different company one day or in a different domain because on average people switch jobs like every 1 to 2 years in the tech field. The first thing I want to say is that you should remember that this is a fresh start, so you can let go of whatever happened at your previous company and the preconceived notions that people had about you there. If you want to be a senior engineer, from day one, you can start acting like a senior engineer. Also, you have the unique asset of someone who is onboarding to a new company, which is that you have fresh eyes. Sometimes people might be so into a way that they do things at this company that they don't see that maybe it's flawed in some way or it doesn't really make sense. And then you can come in with some suggestions for how you would fix it. I'm going to split this video into 2 sections. Onboarding technically as a software engineer and I guess non-technically or like company onboarding. Okay, so how do you even onboard as an engineer? What are the first things that you should be doing in your first few weeks? Well, it's pretty simple. So in your first few weeks, you're probably going to have some events put on your calendar for new hires, and they also might have one specific for engineers joining. But at my company, we had different onboarding docs that they would also send out. We used Notion, and they had a whole section for backend engineering onboarding. And they also had some videos that they had recorded, so I took notes on that. So definitely set up a Notion doc or a Google Doc to take notes on everything that you're learning, so you can also ask your manager or teammates questions about different things. That's one thing that you'll be doing, is reading up on different resources and how to work at your company. The second thing is setting up your environment, downloading things like Kubernetes or like a database, the table thing like Table Plus or DataGrip, whatever you need to do your job. Ask your teammates, or they might have like a team onboarding doc, and follow through all of that. Also make sure you get access to different things like join teams on GitHub or 1Password vaults. Another thing I want you to do, even though it's kind of awkward, is to set up a one-on-one with every single person on your team. This is what I did, and luckily I have a small team, but I also sent one-on-one invites to people on my sister team. And you can obviously like talk to people at lunch, but doing a one-on-one conversation is really useful to learn about the history of the team, about this specific person and what they're working on. And you can ask them to share any onboarding advice that they have or any docs that they can share for you to quickly ramp up. And in your last few minutes of your conversation with them, you can also ask them who else do they think that you should meet, because that's also something cool where you can keep meeting more and more people. And I'll talk about this later in like the company onboarding, but it's really important to start expanding your network from the get-go. I also want you to set up a one-on-one with your manager to ask about your role expectations and to learn about the team's direction, like what projects they're going to be working on in the next quarter. And I want you to try to attend as many meetings as possible. Even if they're not relevant to you yet, these will be very important for you to see what it's like for people to ideate at your company and brainstorm together. How do they resolve conflicts and talk about different trade-offs? The overall vibes of how meetings work. Like for my company, everyone joins like 5 minutes late because they're just like going to the bathroom or like finding the meeting room. And they love to whiteboard and like go off on tangents about things. So you need to learn about that. This will also help you learn the context of different projects. Even if you might not be working on it, it's really important to know what your other teammates are working on and the different systems or services that you might be working in. And in my first week, I actually wrote my first PR, which did not get merged because we actually didn't end up needing to do it. But your first priority should be to land some code so you can take your high-level knowledge of the systems that you've learned from attending these meetings and from talking to your teammates and actually put it into real code and see if you understand what you've been learning. And I just want to say that my first month was definitely the hardest. That is generally the case. Like your first month is going to be really, really hard because everybody else around you knows what they're doing and they can easily do things. But for you, it's your first time doing stuff, so you're going to have to ask a lot of questions. Like you're going to have to write your first PR, get it reviewed, and you're probably going to have 1 million comments on it, but that's fine. Your first PRs, you should be getting a lot of comments and a lot of nitpicks so you can learn how do they write software here, what are they looking for, or different mistakes that you might have made. This is all a learning process. But I want you to push out your first pieces of code, learn how reviews work, learn how to deploy your code, because my team has to actually like manually deploy things and you have to run all these commands. So learning these, how to roll things back, all of that, how to monitor that things are progressing properly in all your pods and containers. Learning this process and asking other people for the commands that they use for doing this, because different people might use different things. So trying to see what you like and what you want to use. I also want you to create a master document of all the commands you need. And then once you notice that you've been using a lot of these and copying and pasting them, set up a bunch of aliases for these. So I have so many of them for like deployment or even like changing branches and that kind of thing. Set all those up and set up your terminal as well. Oh my ZSH and all those autocomplete features and things like that, because you want your development environment to run as smooth as butter. And the easiest way for you to learn about the different projects and how people code at your company is to start reviewing other people's PRs. If you don't understand things, you can leave questions. Maybe the way that they're doing it doesn't make sense, or you just want to gain context. That's what I was doing initially. Like on my tech leads PRs, I would comment and be like, oh, what is this for? What is this variable? Why are we doing it this way? So ask different questions. You can also leave like nitpicks and stuff that you see. Start code reviews early on. Also around this time, I want you to learn what the on-call is like and how it works. And don't forget to fix any new hire or onboarding documents if you see something is wrong. And now let's talk about company-wide onboarding. So this is really fun because every company has a different culture, and you'll soon learn different clubs and employee resource groups that exist that you can join. At my company, we have one for board games. So I joined the board game club or the book club. So it's really fun to meet people in this way, like through your hobbies. Or there's even like a fitness channel, so sometimes they go do group fitness classes, so I might want to join that too. Oh, also they might have different guilds for different types of engineering. So they might have a front end guild where they meet every 2 weeks and someone presents on something, or they might have a back end one. So I joined the back end one at my company, and it's really interesting to see what different teams and like different organizations in the company are thinking about, different things that they have been solving. I also want you to learn about your benefits, set up any like health insurance plans or dental, and how you can expense different things. Like maybe you'll have a travel reimbursement, you can spend an X amount of money for a gym membership every month. So learn about these things and also try to expense them in your first month. And something nice that my company and my previous companies have done is that they have a Slack app or like a bot or something that can match random people so that they can meet every like 2 weeks. You can meet a new person for like 15 minutes and grab a coffee. And at my company it's called Donut. I have met so many interesting people so far, and an easy way to step outside my comfort zone. Because when one of my friends visited my office, she would introduce herself to everybody, like the security guards, the random person walking down the hall. She'd be like, hi, my name's Iris, and like shake their hand. And I'm like, wow, I want to be like Iris too. So it was really funny because I accidentally sat down on my first week. I sat down on a table at lunch where there was already a cup of water, but I just thought, oh, someone left it. But then it turned out to be the security guard for the office, so he's the one who sits at the front desk. And now I'm friends with this guy, and now we chat whenever I enter the building and I see him. So it's really nice to meet the people who work at your company and be able to have this sense of community and that you belong there, instead of just like walking in and like going straight to work. Like you can say hi to different people and good morning and that kind of thing. And I also, since I work at a company that works with hardware, I had to start getting some hardware set up around my desk. So ask around for how to do that, because it was really useful when I started on my first project and I had to start testing things out. It was much better to have my own stuff rather than messing around with other people's stuff. And like if we're both testing at the same time, we would kind of clash with each other. So basically, when you join a company, I want you to start increasing your web of people that you know. Learn who knows what. When I joined this company, I knew 2 people. One person I met at a Halloween party a year before, and the other person I met her at a Women in Tech event. It was actually pretty funny because I joined it just as a meme. I saw it on that app Luma, and it was a Women in AI event hosted at Silicon Valley Bank by a bunch of dudes. So it was like a group of men hosting this event for women at SVB. So I was like, that sounds funny, I want to go. And I went there, and it was actually a really nice event, and I met a lot of really great women attend weird events. And I added this girl on LinkedIn, and then later on I was able to message her when I was interviewing at the company and asking her about it. Because I already knew these 2 people, I was able to ask them questions when I first joined as well, and they're able to introduce me to their teammates. One time I had a question for one of them, and he was like, actually my team doesn't own this, but let me take you downstairs to the other floor and then introduce you to this guy whose team does own this. Once you know one person, they can introduce you around and show you who knows what at the company. So basically it's very useful to have friends. Also, I was really worried about asking stupid questions when I joined, but as long as you're new, it's okay to ask questions. If you are taking notes and not asking the same question multiple times, then you're all good. So don't worry about it. In conclusion, after you've done a few small tasks and maybe finished even your first project, you have successfully onboarded. But some people say it takes a few months. For me, I felt like I have fully onboarded after like a month and a half because I finished my first project and now I'm like debugging and testing it and stuff. It's very fun and it was a good way for me to learn how the whole system works and like how to work with different teams. Because for this project, I was working with my sister team and another team in a different org of the company. So it's like complex type of project. So now I finally feel like I can get a task, figure out how to do it in the code base, and then make a PR without even having to ask for my tech lead's advice. But sometimes I obviously do because things are still new to me. And after you feel like you've fully onboarded, then you can start trying to make improvements to the service and having different conversations with your teammates about ways that you can improve things or add new technologies and stuff like that. And also make sure that you're not so stressed out and that you're having fun. Because in these meetings that I attended in my first week, I got a bit intimidated by some people, but outside of those meetings, I learned that they're actually really nice and they're just like super into their jobs and just like intensely running around and whiteboarding, which is new to me, but now I'm like used to them. You'll get used to different people's quirks, of course, and you probably have your own quirks too. And one last thing I wanted to say is that right before I joined my job, I had to go to Vancouver to redo my work visa. And I stayed with my friend, and her favorite book is called The Architecture of Happiness. And the book is basically about how surrounding yourself with different buildings in the city or like atmospheres can make you happier. So for her, she found a place near the ocean and she has big windows and a really beautiful kitchen and like all the things that she likes that make her happy. At your job, you should also try to do the same thing. So for me, I was a little bit nervous about working in person, so I tried to decorate my desk to make me feel comfortable and happy about going to work. So I added a cute little desk mat and some of my own pens in a pen holder and a bunch of like stickers on my laptop. Bring things from home that might make you feel comfortable, or like your own keyboard or mouse. And also, don't wear sweatpants to work. I have been trying to dress up for work, and I know that when one of my friends goes to work, she also changes up her outfits, and it's like a fashion show for her to go into the office and wear nice makeup and jewelry. Try to present yourself well instead of wearing like slobby clothes that you usually wear when you work from home. I was too used to that. Now I actually like to dress up, and I bought some new clothes for my work, some nice dress pants and nice jeans that I can wear. Try to do whatever you can to make yourself excited to go to work and see people that you know and work on stuff that you are excited about. That's all my advice for onboarding. I wish you good luck if you're onboarding to a new company. And of course, good luck, David. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!